What's going on, Geminites? It's your boy Gem Mint. We're here with the new comic book day reviews for Wednesday, July 9th. We have a big stack of books that we got to get through, so I'll try not to make this video too long. Make sure you guys hit the subscription button down below, hit the notification bell, hit that like button, and make sure to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com. If you're looking to buy any omnibus absolute editions or collected editions, Cheap Graphic Novels sells them for up to 50% off cover price. They have immaculate packaging, quick shipping, great customer service, and a bargain bin where you can get books up to 90% off. If you put my name in the memo at checkout, Gem Mint, your second order will have free shipping in the United States. So check out cheapgraphicnovels.com. First of all, I didn't go to the comic shop last week because there was no Marvel or DC books. This Negan Lives did come out last week, but I picked it up today. I read it. It's by Robert Kirkman. Who was the artist on here? Charlie Adlard. This was a cool little Negan one-shot. Negan's by himself, talking to himself. He gets a visitor, and I don't really want to give any spoilers, but it was nice to revisit The Walking Dead. I love the dialogue for Negan. A lot of F-bombs dropped in there. It's Negan, so you got a lot of violence. So it was just a nice revisit to the Walking Dead universe. I only got one from Image today. This is Stealth issue 3. This is Mike Costa, Bellegarde, and Bond Villain. I've been hyping this book up since issue 1. I really like what they're doing with it. And this one is so well written. I mean, we have a character who kind of has Alzheimer's here, and I think that they write him really well. And he's talking to himself. Yeah, you remember this. Yeah, this is the third place, not the second place. You've been to the second place. So I thought it was really clever and really well written. Very cool interactions between the father and son dynamic with this suit of armor. It's a little Exo Man-O-War. It's a little Iron Man. And we are finally getting a villain here. Kind of like a skull-faced villain who knows he's a villain. And he says typical cliche villain things and even admits to it. So I really enjoyed Stealth. I think this is a fun book. It's a nice superhero indie title. So definitely enjoy this one. Going to jump over to Boom Studios. This is James Tynion IV, Something's Killing the Children. We have Werther Deledra and Miguel Muerto on the art and coloring. I like this title. It's never let me down. It's always a quick read, expanding on the story a little bit more here. You know, we have these monsters. They can only really be seen by children and then some adults under certain circumstances. So we have adults that are learning about the monsters. There's sheriffs involved, and there's going to try to be this resistance to fight these monsters that are stealing these children, eating them alive. So we're continuing to plug along with Something's Killing the Children. Another one from Boom, we have The King of Nowhere, issue 3. This is W. Maxwell Prince, Tyler Jenkins, and Hillary Jenkins. So, King of Nowhere, I don't know how I really feel about this one yet. We're definitely in this kind of dream zone. We have the only human character. Somebody's out to kill him. All the other characters are like, what do you call it? Anamorphic characters, like fish characters or cat characters. You know what? I noticed in this one that there's somebody narrating this counting down in time. I feel like they're counting down in REM, like REM sleep or something like that. It's still kind of unclear on, is Nowhere a real place? Is it a dream place? Why is this person in Nowhere and who is out to kill him? I'm definitely going to keep picking it up to see where this rabbit hole leads to. So I don't know how I feel about it. It wasn't bad. I guess I do want to see more. Jumping over to Dynamite Entertainment, we have The Boys, Dear Becky. This is issue 2. So Dear Becky is basically Butcher writing in a diary to his wife Becky back in the day, right, in the 90s. We have Huey finds this diary now, and he's kind of reading through it. So we're kind of getting, present day, and we're getting the past. I kind of felt like this was dialogue heavy at first, but then Butcher does Butcher, right? And it gets really graphic, and and I really enjoyed it. They kind of are playing with this idea of this mixed, diverse team that Vought Industries was creating around the first arc of The Boys. Something that was a different faction of Vought, and it almost looks like, is there a power struggle within the company? And it looks like something's going to happen with this team. And Huey's going to find out about it while reading Butcher's diary. Garth Ennis back on the run. You got Russ Braun on the art, Tony Avina on the coloring. Simon Ballin on the lettering. Derek Robertson did the cover. So, the boys, Dear Becky. I'm digging it. We're back in the boys' universe. All right, let's jump over to DC. We have Batman issue 94, James Tynion the fourth, and we have March, Albuquerque, and Barron on the creative team. You know, I really like James Tynion's run so far. This one kind of felt like a little Tom King-ish, and I don't know if it was like because it's playing with that relationship with Batman and Catwoman, but this is really setting up Joker War. Joker makes his move in this issue, and at the end, he kind of puts all his cards on the table, no pun intended, Joker card. But artwork is amazing in this. Batman's beat the hell up in this, and basically, he's broken all the way down. So you get an idea of what's going to happen in Joker War in this issue. You get some punchline stuff. You get some designer stuff. That's all I'm going to say. Definitely liked Batman 94 though. You know what was cool about this issue? You kind of see what all the other villains are doing when Joker's doing his thing. And it makes a lot of sense because you got to think about it. Joker's running around wild, plotting and scheming. What does everyone else do during this time? You find out in this issue. Batman The Adventures Continue issue 2. So this is the ongoing series that is picking up where the Batman animated series left off, where the comic series left off. The cover threw me off because I was like, that looks like Sean Gordon Murphy. And it was, but somebody else helped with the cover. But we got Burnett, Paul Dini, Templeton, and Kubina on this run. I definitely like this run. It is so cool to see Jason Todd in the Batman Adventures universe, to see Deathstroke in this universe. So I'm definitely digging it. I'm actually watching the Batman animated series because I have the Blu-ray box set. I'm watching this, rewatching the entire series, and I'm going to do some type of review on it. So it's fun to be watching that and to see the continuation of that and see these characters that were never included in that animated series. But otherwise, it's a fun read. It's a good read. I definitely recommend it. All right, we got Batman's Grave, issue 8 out of 12. This is Warren Ellis with Hitch and Sinclair. Probably the last Warren Ellis run we're going to see for some time. But they're supposedly going to finish this run out. All these issues kind of play out the same. They have the same kind of formula. They have a lot of no dialogue action scenes. There's like a whodunit murder mystery. But the artwork is great. I really am digging this run. I always kind of say it feels like it's going to read better once it's finished in like some kind of collected edition. But I definitely enjoy it. It's a fun read. Not really sure where they're going with this, but I'm going to stick it out to the end to find out. All right, we have another visit to the Deceased universe. This is Deceased, Dead Planet by Tyler, Hairsine, Guadino, Ballasini, and Barreto. This is the War for Planet Earth is just the beginning. So they're kind of taking a page out of the Marvel Zombies book. And once the regular Earth gets all messed up, now here we are with Earth 2. So it's kind of following that formula. We're getting an Earth 2 Justice League. There's a distress call from Earth. Somebody might still be alive. So, of course, we're going to risk everyone's life to go try to save this one person. And you can kind of figure out the rest of it. But the artwork is incredible here. It's very dramatic. Anything can happen at any time in this universe because it's an Elseworlds tale. Anybody can die, and they do a lot. So I definitely liked revisiting this. It's really fun. I almost made this my pick of the week. I mean, it wasn't really that strong story-wise. I think this was a strong, like, little self-contained issue. But I just felt like I couldn't give it pick of the week. It wasn't, like, big enough. But it definitely is fun. I recommend Deceased. All right, let's jump over. We got Detective Comics. This is issue 1023 with Peter J. Tomasi, Walker, Hennessy, and Anderson. So I recently just jumped into a few new DC titles, Detective Comics being one of them, and I was glad I did because this is considered the prelude to the Joker War. Artwork was really good in this one. It has kind of like Jim Lee vibes, like the shadow over the Batman's face, just the way that he's jumping and posing in the sky here. I don't know that it was really necessary to set up Joker War. Oh yeah, that's right. I had to flip through to remember what happened. So a fan favorite Batman New 52 storyline being tied in here. We get some Two-Face stuff. Not much more I could really say. I don't want to spoil anything going into Joker War, but more than what we learned in the Tynion Batman, there's more going on in this book. So definitely, Detective is definitely worth reading as well. It almost feels like, this is the secondary Batman book right now. All right, so I'm reading The Flash. We just got done with a story arc with Paradox. This is Williamson, Sandoval, Tarragona, and Hi-Fi. So, the thing about this book is, like, I haven't read a ton of Flash stuff. I have watched a few seasons of the show, and this feels just like something out of that show. Reverse Flash is messing with the past, messing with people in Barry Allen's life. He's threatening people in Barry Allen's life. So it kind of felt very familiar. We kind of learned that he's rounding up other rogues to mess with Barry Allen. Barry Allen also wants to kill him for what he did at the end of the Paradox storyline. But, I mean, the artwork is incredible. I think these DC titles, all the next ones I'm going to go through, really have amazing artwork and great coloring. The story here is kind of cliche for Flash. I think even the editor multiple times was like, read any Flash book and you'll know what we're referencing here. So I did feel like it was a very cliche Flash story. But he's assembling this rogues gallery, as you can see on the cover, so I guess that's what we're leading up to. Wonder Woman 758 by Orlando, Lupacchino, McCarthy, and Ferraro Jr. I kind of thought that, I didn't like the ending of the last Wonder Woman arc. I kind of jumped in the middle of it. I didn't love it. I figured this would be a brand new start for Wonder Woman, so I could jump in. This was the only book out of this haul that I really wasn't digging. The whole Phantom Stranger storyline, we kind of just get thrown into this battle with Wonder Woman and Phantom Stranger. I don't know what the hell's going on. Wasn't interesting. They are kind of doing a little Themyscira power play at the end here, which I don't want to spoil. But I might drop Wonder Woman. I mean, I gave her a couple of issues, and I'm just not digging it. Justice League 48, we have Spurrier, Lopresti, Ryan, and Baron. You can see Justice League coming down saying, "Kneel!" It reminds me of Loki in the Avengers. But this kind of feels like a one-shot almost. Basically, Justice League responds to a distress call in space. They find this civilization. It's actually a rogue planet, so it's not orbiting a star. I thought that was pretty cool. And you have this civilization that are split in between two factions. The cover kind of tells you what's going to happen in there, but it's not really what it seems. I don't want to spoil anything if you're reading Justice League. But the art was good. It was a fun read. No big stakes. It feels like it could have been a one-shot. I don't know if they're going to continue this storyline in the next issue or not, but it was all right. Superman 23, Brian Michael Bendis. This is with McGuire, Timms, and Sinclair. This is Cured by Magic. So, I didn't dislike this book. I hear a lot of bad things, or people have negative feelings towards Bendis' Superman. I thought this was pretty cool. Basically, he needs to see Dr. Fate to kind of schedule a therapy session. People are worried about him. Why did you reveal yourself as Clark Kent to the world? And when you put into perspective all the shit that he goes through, it makes a lot of sense. With his father coming back and losing him, Lois Lane losing her father, them losing Jonathan Kent, and they talk about him being in the 31st century with the Legionnaires. And, I thought it was just a nice, fun issue. We get a confrontation at the end with a character that's on the cover, and I think that's pretty cool, so we'll see where that goes. The art I didn't really love. There was a lot of panels where Superman looked like a big clunky doofus in his face. But otherwise, I thought it was an interesting enough story. Picked up Justice League Odyssey issue 22. I can't remember if I picked up 21 or if I'm just jumping on now. This is by Dan Abnett. We actually interviewed him, and I have the interview. I'm going to release it tomorrow, so the day after this drops, this video. Also got Richard and Barreto. So we get the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern story. It was pretty cool. Basically, you have this space ranger in the past that's getting themselves into trouble. Jessica Cruz pops up out of nowhere. She gets sent back, and it's during the time where Green Lantern Hal Jordan becomes Parallax, so there's no Green Lantern Corps, so Jessica Cruz is basically stuck. So basically, it's a cool issue. It's very cosmic, and it's funny reading this. I'm thinking about my conversation with Dan, and I'm like, yeah, this is so Dan Abnett. This cosmic story that really doesn't have to do with being cosmic. It just happens to be in space. But, it's cool to kind of see what's up with this Jessica Cruz. I'm going to continue to read Odyssey. A lot of people have said great things about this run, so I guess this is my jumping on. Then the last DC book, we have Young Justice. This is also by Bendis with Walker, Goldowski, and Eltab. Man, this book is the second time I'm reading this. This is the second issue I'm reading. I really like Young Justice, and I'm telling you, from the characters being like this teeny bopper DC heroes, you would think that I wouldn't like it. I really do like it. This was a great story with Bart Allen and with the clone Superboy John Kent dealing with life, right? Like, he can't stop running, because when he stops running, that's when he starts thinking. And they even make the analogy to like a shark. If a shark stops swimming, it dies. And I could relate, man. I feel like I'm always constantly working at something and I just can't turn my brain off and stop. So it hit close to home. Artwork is amazing. The coloring is amazing. I definitely dig Young Justice. I can't be the only one. This is a good book. Jumping into Marvel, we have the Fantastic Four Empire. What is this? Issue 0. It's Dan Slott, R.B. Silva, Sean Izaski, and Marte Garcia. Oversized issue. I did like this issue. If you guys read, what was the prior Empire book? Was it Avengers Empire 0? Fantastic Four shows up at the end. So we kind of get their perspective on what's the beginnings of this Empire event. It's a Kree Skrull War thing. What can I say that without spoiling it, really? I mean, we know that basically the plot is that the Kree and the Skrull are united and they're going to attack us. So we find out that the Kree Skrull War ended. We find out that the intergalactic currency has been abolished. We're in a bartering system here. And in Fantastic Four fashion, they pick up some kids along the way coming back to Earth, a Kree and a Skrull warrior kid. So, they like to have a lot of kids in this future foundation. I did enjoy this book. I know a lot of people are skeptical about Empire because there's so many tie-ins. There's going to be a lot going on. But I'm going to keep reading it until, I don't like it. And so far, it's not bad. I don't dislike it. So, yeah, there you go. We got Ghost Rider 7, Ed Brisson. We got Cooter and Keith. This is one of the books that I put in my top 10 ongoings right now. And this one didn't disappoint. Johnny Blaze about to whoop Doctor Strange's ass. His skull has turned from a crown to like these Hellboy type horns. And I like this gladiator being that Danny Ketch has become. It's kind of like medieval Spanish, but it still has that 90s Ghost Rider vibe. Like even his sword has the vibe of the bike from the 90s. I don't want to give any spoilers on this one, but a big shift moving forward in the plot happens in this book. So you'll know what I'm talking about if I'm reading it at the end here. We got Marvel's X issue 4. This is the Alex Ross story with Jim Kruger and Welby. So this is about, it's an Elseworld Marvel's tale. All of the humans have manifested superpowers except for this one person, this child named David. He's the key. He is what can possibly hold the cure for this to get everything back to normal. But everything's messed up, man. Everything is almost post-apocalyptic. Awesome what they did with Kraven the Hunter in this book. This is essentially a Kraven Spider-Man story with this child David. I think his name is David. So I thought it was really cool. I think this is the strongest one. It was a while. It has been a while since issue 3 came out. I think pre-quarantine, but I was able to pick it up, jump right back in, and I really like what they did with this one. Spider-Man. I feel bad for Spider-Man. Kraven is crazy in this book. And another momentum shift to move forward. I mean, this is probably a mini-series that'll wrap up soon, I would guess. So that seems like where we're headed. Then we have Strange Academy 2 finally came out. Scotty Young, Humberto Ramos with Edgar Delgado. We interviewed, me and Comic Tom, we interviewed Humberto Ramos on the channel. He was really excited about this book. It feels like it's a passion project for him and Scotty. They have a lot of time where they're able to dedicate to this book to turn out quality issues. This is the first day at Strange Academy. This is what it's like going through all these periods of classes. Who are the teachers? What are the subjects? But we're learning about the students, these new characters. We're getting a lot of cameos as professors like Magic, Ileana Rasputin. Who else was a professor? I can't remember. Artwork is great. It's a whole new premise, a whole new story. I think it delivered. It's only on issue 2, so pick up issue 1 and get caught up. And for my pick of the week, I had a hard time deciding the pick of the week this week. I almost gave it to that Deceased. I almost gave it to Batman. But really, I think X-Force 10 deserves the pick of the week here, man. This is Benjamin Percy with Joshua Cassara and Guru EFX. I feel like this book just had a lot going on. The interaction between Jean and Beast. Beast accidentally making an evil Krakoa. Wolverine, Domino, and Quentin Quire. I can't bring myself to call him Kid Omega, but I think Quentin Quire alone, in the first little couple of pages, I was like, yeah, this is going to be my pick of the week. I love that character. I love how he's written. I think they did a great job with his dialogue here. And at the end, what is up with Jean and Wolverine in the hot tub? That's all I'm going to say. Pick of the week, X-Force, Dawn of X. So that's everything, man. Huge week of comics. You know, last week was basically a dead week. This week was huge. I want to hear what you guys think about this week's new comics in the comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like. And you guys stay minty fresh. Peace.